Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine yourself exactly 1 year from today. Look at where you are sitting. Look at what you are doing. Look at the people around you. Now ask yourself one honest question. If you keep living exactly the way you are living right now, will that future look any different from today? For most people, the answer is a quiet, uncomfortable no. That is not a judgment. That is just the truth about how life works. Nothing changes when nothing changes. The future does not arrive as some magical event. It is not waiting for you around a corner. It is being built right now, in this moment, and in every small, unnoticed choice you make throughout your day. The problem is not that you lack talent. The problem is not that the world is unfair. The problem is that comfort is stealing from you every single day, and it is doing it so quietly that you barely notice it happening. There is a war going on inside you. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is the quiet battle between the version of you that wants ease and the version of you that knows what you are actually capable of. Comfort says stay in bed a little longer. Comfort says start tomorrow. Comfort says you deserve a break. And discipline, that quiet, steady voice, says you can do this right now. Most days, comfort wins not because it is stronger, but because it is closer. It is always right there, always easy, always available. Discipline requires something from you. It requires a decision. Here is what most people misunderstand about discipline. They think it is about motivation. They wait to feel ready. They wait to feel inspired. They wait for the right moment to arrive. But the right moment is not coming. The people who change their lives do not wait for motivation. They build structure. They build systems. They make decisions in advance so that when the hard moment arrives, there is no negotiating. There is just the next action. That is the shift. Stop leaking your energy into the idea of one day and start putting it into the reality of today. Every single day you are either investing in the future version of yourself or borrowing from it. Every hour you spend on distraction is borrowed time. Every commitment you make to yourself and break is a withdrawal from your self-trust account. And over time, when you break enough promises to yourself, you stop believing yourself. You stop trusting that you will follow through. That is a dangerous place to live, because when you cannot trust yourself, nothing feels stable, nothing feels certain. You become a person who makes plans and never executes them, and deep down, you know it. That feeling has a name. It is called self-betrayal. But here is the good news. Every single promise you keep to yourself is a deposit. Every morning you show up when you said you would is a deposit. Every hard thing you finish when you wanted to quit is a deposit. These deposits compound. They build something inside you that cannot be taken away. They build inner authority, the kind of authority that does not come from external validation, from followers, from titles, or from applause. It comes from knowing in the deepest part of yourself that you are the kind of person who does what they said they would do. That is where real power lives. Now let us talk about the morning, because the morning is where everything begins. Most people wake up and immediately reach for the phone. Before their feet even touch the floor, they have already handed their attention to someone else. They are reading news, scrolling feeds, reacting to notifications, absorbing other people's priorities, other people's emergencies, other people's moods. And then they wonder why they feel anxious, scattered, and reactive before the day has even started. The first input you receive in the morning sets the direction of your mental traffic for the entire day. Let that land. When you reach for the phone the moment you wake up, you are telling your nervous system that the outside world is more important than your inner world. You are starting the day in reaction mode, and a person in reaction mode is not building a life. They are responding to everyone else's life. The morning is sacred, not because of some spiritual reason, though that matters too, but because it is the one window of the day when you have the most control over your own attention. Before the world makes its demands, before the noise begins, before everything pulls at you from every direction. So here is what you do instead. When you wake up, you sit up. You do not lie there negotiating with yourself. You do not check the time and decide 5 more minutes. You sit up, then you put your feet on the floor. You feel the ground beneath you, solid, real, present. Then before you touch anything, before you speak to anyone, you choose one intention, one sentence. It does not have to be profound. It just has to be yours. Something like, today I will stay focused, or today I will be present. That one sentence becomes your internal compass before the world tries to give you its directions. Then you make the bed. This sounds too simple to matter, but it is not simple at all. Making the bed is a contract with yourself. It is the first completed action of the day. It is proof before breakfast, before your first meeting, before anything else that you follow through. You create order before chaos has a chance to settle in. And when you make the bed, something shifts in the brain. It says this person finishes what they start. That signal echoes throughout the rest of the day. Then drink water, hydrate before you stimulate, take care of the body before you take on the world. These are not complicated steps. They are not glamorous. Nobody is going to applaud you for making your bed or drinking water. But that is exactly the point. Greatness is not built in applause. It is built in the private, unglamorous moments when you do the right thing, even though no one is watching. Every morning you win that first battle, you are collecting evidence. Evidence that you can be trusted. Evidence that you keep your word. That evidence stacks up over weeks, over months, over years, and it becomes the foundation of an unshakable identity. Now let us go deeper into the mind itself, because everything we are talking about, the habits, the structure, the discipline, all of it requires mastery of the mind. And most people have no relationship with their own mind. They are completely at the mercy of every thought that passes through. A thought appears and they follow it. An emotion rises and they become it. A fear whispers and they obey it. That is not living. That is being pulled through life by forces you have never learned to work with. Most people believe that meditation means making the mind quiet. They think the goal is to stop thinking. They try once, their mind floods with thoughts, they decide they are bad at it, and they quit. But that is not what meditation is. Meditation is the practice of not obeying every thought. Your mind will think. That is what minds do. The practice is to observe the thought without chasing it, to notice it like noticing a cloud passing overhead, and then return your attention back to the breath. That returning is the exercise. That is the muscle you are building. You sit for 5 minutes, maybe 10, maybe 20. You observe the breath. The mind wanders into yesterday's argument or tomorrow's problem, and you catch it. You come back. The mind wanders again. You come back again. Every single return is a repetition. Every repetition builds the muscle of attention. Over time, this becomes your greatest asset, the ability to choose where your attention goes, because whoever controls your attention controls your experience, and most people have outsourced that control completely without ever realizing it. The transformation that happens through consistent practice is quiet but radical. You stop being kidnapped by your thoughts. A difficult emotion arises, and instead of drowning in it, you observe it. Someone says something that triggers you, and instead of reacting immediately, there is a pause. In that pause lives your freedom. That pause is the product of training. It does not come from willpower in the moment. It comes from the thousands of quiet returns you practiced alone, with no audience on a regular Tuesday morning when no one was watching. This is what emotional sovereignty feels like. Not the absence of difficult emotions, but the ability to feel them without being controlled by them. That is power. Real, lasting, unshakable power, and it is available to anyone willing to sit down, shut up, and train. No equipment needed, no money required, just you, your breath, and the commitment to return again and again and again. Now let us talk about the body, because the body is not separate from the mind. They are one system, and when you train the body, you are training the mind at the same time. Most people think exercise is about appearance. They work out to look better, and when they see results, they feel good. When they do not see results fast enough, they quit. This is the wrong reason, and it explains why most people stop. The real reason to train the body every single day is not aesthetics. It is discipline, it is willpower, it is mental toughness. When you push your body past the point where it wants to stop, something extraordinary happens. A voice shows up. That voice says quit. That voice says this is enough. That voice says you do not have to do this. And in that moment, you have a choice. You can listen to that voice or you can say, not yet. Just 2 words, not yet. And you keep moving. That is not about fitness. That is about forging the kind of inner resolve that carries over into every other area of your life. Because the person who can say not yet to their body in a moment of physical discomfort is the same person who can say not yet to distraction, to procrastination, to the path of least resistance. You do not have to be perfect. You do not need extreme workouts. You do not need to be an athlete. You need consistency over perfection every single time. showing up on the days you do not feel like it is worth 10 times more than the perfect session on the days you are energized and motivated, because the days you do not feel like it are the exact days that build your character. Those are the days that define you. Move your body daily. Make it intense enough to demand your presence, and then carry that presence into the rest of your life. Now listen carefully, because this part is often overlooked. The words you use about yourself are programming your identity in real time. Every time you say, "I cannot do this," your nervous system files that away as a fact. Every time you say, "I'm always like this," your brain accepts it as a permanent condition and stops looking for other options. Language is not just communication. Language is construction. You are building yourself with your words every single day, and most people are building a prison without realizing it. Stop complaining about things you are not willing to change. That is an important rule. Not because complaining is morally wrong, but because every time you voice a complaint without taking action, you reinforce your own helplessness. You signal to yourself that you are a victim of circumstances, and a person who sees themselves as a victim will not take bold action. They will wait for someone else to fix things. Stop oversharing your goals. When you talk about what you are going to do before you do it, the brain gets a small reward from the social approval, and that small reward reduces the drive to actually do the thing. Keep your goals private. Let your results speak. Replace the words cannot with not yet. This is not just positive thinking, it is neurological reprogramming. Not yet keeps a door open that cannot slam shut. Over time, your inner language shifts from victim language to ownership language. And when your language shifts, your identity shifts with it. You begin to see yourself differently, and how you see yourself determines everything, because you will never consistently act in ways that contradict your self-image. Change the words, change the identity, change the life. One of the most powerful things you can do every day is to choose the hardest task first. Before the emails, before the meetings, before the casual conversations, before any consumption at all. There is a simple rule that separates people who build things from people who stay stuck. Create before you consume. The moment you open social media, the moment you read news, the moment you check messages, your mind is in consumption mode. And a mind in consumption mode is not creating. It is reacting, comparing, absorbing. The creative window, your sharpest, most focused hours, gets wasted on other people's content. So instead, you identify the single most important, most uncomfortable thing you need to do today. You sit down with it first. No phone, no notifications, just you and the work. This is called deep focus, and it is becoming rare, because the world is designed to steal your attention, to fragment it, to scatter it across 100 different inputs so that you never go deep enough into anything to produce something real. Going against that design requires a daily act of rebellion, and that rebellion is where your edge lives. Stay with the discomfort of deep work until the resistance fades. It always fades, but you have to be willing to sit through it long enough to reach the other side. You are also consuming far more than food. You are consuming content, conversations, environments, sounds, images, and energy fields from the people around you. All of it is going in. All of it is affecting your nervous system, your mood, your clarity, your drive. Most people have no boundaries around what they let in, and then they wonder why they feel scattered, anxious, and drained by the middle of the afternoon. Real food matters, not perfect, but real. Your brain is made of what you eat. Your energy levels are determined by what you put in your body. Beyond food, limit your media intake to specific windows. Choose when you consume, not whenever impulse pulls you. Be deliberate about the conversations you spend time in. Negativity, gossip, and low-energy conversation drain you more than a missed meal. And choose your environment intentionally. Where you spend your time shapes who you become. These are not minor lifestyle tips. They are energy management decisions that directly determine the quality of your output. Now the day is ending. Most people collapse into sleep unconsciously. They scroll until their eyes close, fall asleep in stimulation, and wake up already behind. But the night is a gift if you use it right. Before you sleep, you sit for a few minutes with 3 questions. What did you do well today? Where did you slip? What matters most tomorrow? These are not questions meant to shame you. They are meant to make your days deliberate. A day reviewed is a day learned from. A day that passes without reflection is just time that happened to you. Add to this a gratitude practice, but not a vague one. Not just a general feeling of thankfulness. Something specific and real. Something that actually happened today that you did not take for granted. This anchors your mind in what is working, not just what is missing. Then prepare your environment for the next day. Set out what you need. Clear your space. Reduce friction. When tomorrow begins, you want to move forward, not scramble. This is how days stop being accidental and start becoming intentional. Over time, something shifts. And it is not dramatic. It is not a single breakthrough moment. Nobody around you may even notice it at first, but you will notice it. You will notice that you return faster when you fall. You will notice that you keep promises to yourself without making it a big deal. You will notice that you move even on the days when your mood says stay still. You will notice that the version of you who negotiated and delayed and made excuses is becoming quieter, smaller, less convincing. And a new version is becoming louder. Not louder in noise, but louder in certainty. This is what unstoppable actually looks like. Not intensity, not perfection, not the loudest person in the room. It is the person who returns, always returns, falls down on Monday and is back on Tuesday, misses a habit and restores it without drama, gets knocked sideways by life and still finds the next right action. That resilience is not talent. It is trained. It is built through every small return, every quiet completion, every decision to do the right thing when the easy thing was available. Discipline, practiced long enough, stops feeling like effort. It becomes automatic. It becomes identity. And identity sustained long enough becomes destiny. You already know what to do. You have always known. The question was never about information. The question was about commitment, about deciding once and for all that you are worth the effort it takes to become who you are capable of being. That decision is available to you right now, not tomorrow, not when the conditions are better. Right now, in this moment, in this breath, you can decide that the future you are building is worth every uncomfortable, unglamorous, unwitnessed act of discipline it requires. Make that decision, then go live it.